I've been thinking about this lately, right? AI is not just changing how we work, it's quietly changing how we see ourselves as human beings. And I can feel this in the questions people are asking. Um, Even if they never say it out loud, a lot of people are asking these questions on social media, asking me, right? People are saying things like, if AI can write this, what's the point of my degree? Or if a bot can build this workflow, what exactly makes me valuable, right? If my superpower, like my strength, can now be automated, then who am I at work, right? And that's the real story behind the AI hype right now. Beneath that excitement, beneath me trying out so many tools, so many smart, capable people are really going through an identity crisis. And most of us would rather talk about prompt engineering, and I know I do this because of my other tutorial channel, than admit we are all scared of being replaced some way or the other, right? And I'm saying this because for many years, for instance, myself, many of us built our identity around being that person who could do a specific thing, right? So for instance, one who could write, let's say, a landing page or a website, or one who could debug code, or the one who could design the deck, right? Or the one who knew all the tools, right? Those days, like, your skills weren't just what you did, they became who you are, right? And you got a title for it. Like, you were, let's say, a staff software developer, senior products manager, right? And then all of a sudden, AI shows up and it's like, okay, cool skill, but I can do 60 to 80% of what you've done, what you do on just one Tuesday afternoon. Come on. So even if you know you bring more to the table than just a model, it still stings to watch a tool do in seconds what used to be your differentiator. Okay. So instead of saying this is messing with my sense of self, we hide behind safer conversations because that makes us feel better. We say things like, is AI going to replace my job? Which tools are best for XYZ? Is this prompt good enough? Um, and all these are important conversations, yes, but they are also a convenient way to avoid the deeper conversation we need to be having as humans, right? What does it really mean to be valuable in a world where my strengths are now baseline, right? One thing you need to know is that as human beings, you are not your task list, right? And that's the shift most people haven't fully made yet. We still subconsciously equate value with task, right? We say things like, um, I write, I design, I code, I analyze data, but AI is aggressively moving tasks down market. So what used to be expert work is becoming starting point. Okay. And the people who will feel the most lost in these transitions are the ones whose identity is molded to a very specific how, right? So, for instance, let's say I'm a valuable person because I can do X manually from scratch better than others, or the people who feel the most grounded are the ones who shift their identity to the why and the who. Okay. So, for instance, something along the lines of, let's say, I'm valuable because of how I think, or what I care about, or what outcomes I consistently create, right? At the end of the day, it's important to see that AI is just leverage, right? And to get there, you need to update that internal story you're telling yourself about who you are at work. And it doesn't matter if you have 10 years experience, 20 years experience, this is a mindset shift that we all need to come to terms with, right? Here are some practical shifts that can help you build or rebuild stronger or more flexible identity around this AI world we find ourselves in without pretending it doesn't affect you sometimes. Okay. So firstly, maybe we just need to move our minds from I do to like I own outcomes, right? So instead of saying things like I write marketing emails, you can say something like maybe I grow revenue by turning strangers into buyers through clear, simple messaging. Because at the end of the day, AI will help you draft that email, but you own the results, right? So something you can do is, let's say you can list your top three recurring tasks. For each one, you can write, for each one, you rewrite it as an outcome you're responsible for. And then you can ask, like, how can AI handle that repetitive pieces so that I can focus more on outcomes? Okay. If you are doing this, then it means that your identity becomes less about what your hands do and more about your mind and the decisions you achieve, right? And the decisions that are achieved because of that. Also, from like, I am my skill, you need to change your mindset from I am my skill to I am my direction, right? Because skills will rotate, as we are saying, but your direction is what stays consistent, right? So instead of identifying yourself as, let's say, this copywriter and saying that's all I am, why don't you try like I help people when product communicates clearly so that the right things get attention, right? That direction can survive platform changes, tool changes, and role changes as well. So one prompt you can use for this is like maybe you can go into ChatGPT and you could say something like, or you can prompt yourself, honestly. I think this is something you prompt yourself. If I couldn't use my job title right now, how would I describe the value I bring to the table in one sentence, right? And that sentence is the beginning of an identity that is bigger than any single tool or any single AI workflow. Now, the 10 mindset shifts you need to make, right? You need to move from humans versus AI to humans plus AI. A lot of identity discomfort comes from seeing AI as a competitor instead of a force multiplier. So, in that inner script you give to yourself, your inner script is like, I have to prove I'm better than the model, right? You can't compete with it, honestly, right? You constantly feel like you're losing. Like ChatGPT keeps releasing like different models every day. So you need to shift that script to like, my value is in how well I can combine my judgment, right? Taste and context with AI speed and skill. Now your identity will shift and it will now become like the person who asks better questions or the person who can spot what's off in an AI output, or let's say the person who knows where automation ends and human care begins, right? Those are not small things. They are bridge between like a cool demo and real world impact. Okay. Now, let me talk about the fourth shift you can make, right? So you can make a shift, mental shift from you being like a replaceable operator to a one of one combination. And let me explain what I mean. AI can imitate your style, but it cannot replicate the exact combination of the person you are, which is like your personal history. Like you have 10 years work experience, all the failures you've experienced, or your cultural context, right? Or your values, or your weird niche obsessions. We sort of underestimate how much meaning and trust comes from these things, right? Your edge in this AI saturated world would often come from the specific, unusual mix of experiences you're sort of willing to bring into your work. So, if you sort of like keep a journal, I would recommend that you journal this, right? What experiences have shaped how you see problems differently from your peers? Because we all have unique experiences. Or what do people come to me for? That has nothing to do with a tool or a title I hold, right? Maybe you're that sounding board for your friends. Or where have I had to solve problems the hard way in real life, not just in a prompt box, right? This part or the answers you provide to these things, this is the part AI can't copy paste, right? Because that is just unique to just you, who you are, your experiences. A simple exercise to regroup your identity, right? If AI has made you quietly wonder, am I still needed? Is this okay? Just try this quick audit. Divide your work into two columns, okay? And then circle anything in, let's say, column A that AI could help you with today. Don't panic. That's not where your identity lives long term. Now, look hard at column B, right? This is where your identity is asking to be rebuilt, and make this your new story, right? And the fact that you are giving some stuff out to AI to do doesn't necessarily mean that you are shrinking your value. You're actually concentrating it, right? And this matters because it goes way beyond work. This whole mindset shift, it goes way beyond work. If you don't actively rewrite your identity in this AI era, something else will do it for you. A layoff can hit you that you didn't see. Recently, Square laid off, I think, 40% of their employees or 60% of their employees, right? 4,000 people gone. Or a tool suddenly show up and will do what you do, right? A job description that quietly removes the part you were the most proudest of, right? That could happen and it will just distract you. But if you start now, you start owning the outcomes, you start expanding your directions, you start partnering with AI instead of competing with it, and doubling down on what only you as a person can bring, then at the end of the day, you stop being that person AI happens to, and you become the person who uses AI to express more of who you already are, right? Now, I know I've been talking a lot. I just got like some time and I decided to just share my thoughts, right? But if this really hit a nerve and this stirred something in you, then that's definitely like a mix of fear, relief, and okay, what now? You're not alone. Um, if you don't know me, I'm Stephanie, and I'm building spaces, resources, and trainings for people who want to basically use AI deeply without losing themselves, or redesign their careers around outcomes, not tasks, or turn I'm scared of being replaced into I'm too hard to ignore. Okay. And I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. So you can join, you can follow me on LinkedIn and on my YouTube channel. But on LinkedIn, I do have like a newsletter, so you can subscribe to that as well so that you don't have to navigate the shift alone. And you can also stay tuned for like my upcoming program. So for instance, if you're in Ottawa, then I'm hosting an N8N AI automation workshop for free. So you can sign up. I'll leave the link on the screen so that you can sign up. And also, I just recently launched an app called Addicia.ai that can basically help you learn while you build. If you sign up in March, I'm going to upgrade your subscription. But yeah, like we are in an AI era, and so if you are struggling with your identity, if you are beginning to feel down, your mental health can take a hit for sure. And if you don't take care, like AI would happen to you instead of you leveraging it. And this year I really want to help a lot of people build leverage with AI. So I hope all the strategies I provided in this video would be very helpful to you. And if you've been feeling this identity shift at work or this identity crisis, or you're feeling left behind, you can actually comment below. Let me know how you're feeling in the comment section below. And yeah, let's continue the conversation in the comments.